Welcome to Wisdom Inspired, a podcast designed to help high achievers to eliminate burnout and overwhelm. Now let's prepare to open our hearts, our minds, and our notebooks to receive today's wisdom. We are discussing each letter of the word entrepreneur, and we're discussing the various characteristics and principles. When is it the best time to embark upon a new venture? What does the Bible say? What does that look like for believers, and are there some examples for us to follow? And so in that, we've determined that the E in entrepreneur is for entrepreneur, one who seeks opportunities for profit, and by doing so, creates new markets and fresh opportunities, creates and runs a new business for profit by selling products and services. And so the E principles in entrepreneur are to commit to the pursuit of excellence as one whose goal is to glorify God and be recognized as exemplary, and one who exhibits extraordinary leadership. And so that is what the E is for. So today we start with the letter N in entrepreneur. And so the N, not end, but N in entrepreneur is for network, net worth, and nurture. These are what I call the 3 N essentials. So let's start with the N in network. Your ability to create a strong network is the absolutely essential part of a business, any business. And we've all heard the saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? And this applies to your career and getting jobs, entrepreneurship, partnerships, all of that. In fact, there was a survey by LinkedIn that found 85% of jobs are filled from networking. 85%. And then the other thing is that networking is not about selling, okay? And I had to slow down to say this, right? Because this has been a topic of discussion just recently. And it's because most people don't get that about networking. And it was just really interesting that, this was one of my topics in entrepreneurship that I had already prepared for even before the discussion. But anyway, the networking is not about selling, and most people just don't get that, and they deliberately network to sell. And the thing is, even if that's your goal to sell, your approach to networking is to always practice relationship building. And just yesterday, I received an invite to connect on LinkedIn, right? And so I responded to the lady's request and asked if she would be open to hopping on a quick virtual coffee chat. And so, I gave her the link to my calendar if she was interested, and then, we could just hop on a 15-minute call. But it was her response to that was like, this is going to be good for this talk on today. So she responds, she says, in her message, she says, "Great to connect. Thanks for the offer of a virtual chat." She goes on to say, "Before we do that, I like to make it a point to get to know women in my circle, and I'd love to learn more about you and your business." She goes on with a series of questions in the message. She says, "Please tell me, what are you best at when it comes to your business? What do you enjoy the most about being an entrepreneur? Do you have a podcast or an article where I could learn a little more about what you do?" Then she goes on to say, this is a message, this is how she responded. She says, "I have a toolbox of professionals on hand. just in case my clients ever need a helping hand with something outside of my expertise. And so she goes on in the message to tell me about what she does and asks if she could send me a link to her free training. So, first issue, as Kimberly Y. Evans would say, you reached out to me. I didn't ask to be a part of your circle. Second issue, all those questions you're asking in your response to my message could have been asked in a live conversation if you were truly interested in knowing me. Last issue, that link to her training, by the way, would require my email, which puts me on her email list. So I responded with a short, polite message declining the connection. The whole point is networking is about the building of authentic personal and professional relationships. We have got to stay out of this transactional mode trying to build our financial portfolio. So that was really annoying to me, and it just sounded and felt cheesy and salesy. And so it is not the way to reach out to someone on LinkedIn or any other way. Would you just go up to someone if you were in person and conduct a conversation that way? No, I don't think so. It would not feel right. So why would you do that, when you are doing this on social media or any other type of communication, right? So I digress. It was fresh and it was annoying. So anyway, moving on to the second N essentials in the word entrepreneur. So the second N essential is net worth. So the phrase network is your net worth is about influence. The people you know and how much they're invested in you makes you rise in the ranks in a conceivable way, right? So your network is your net worth. Social interactions and personal well-being have a direct impact on your net worth. In fact, in an article by the Harvard Business School, it says that networking has advantages such as gathering the relevant information, getting access to diverse skills, and getting to know the right people who can support you in your business and your career. The bigger your network is, the more you access information which could really be accessible to only a few otherwise, right? And your professional network can help you, with opportunities, connect with people, and just really make you professionally stronger, right? And so that second in essential is essential, right, in your entrepreneurial endeavors. And so the third in essential is nurture. And as with any relationship, nurturing, again, is essential. In a business relationship, personal relationship, it's really about earning the trust of your peers and your clients. And to do this, you must be authentic. Like that message that I got, that was not authentic, right? And so being authentic, when you first make contact with someone, you need to keep it simple, genuine, and again, authentic. It really goes a long way. Had she not sent me that kind of email, even if she didn't want to hop on a call with me, maybe she had another way of wanting to get to know me, but that was not the way. But it really goes a long way when you want to create long-lasting business relationships and be relatable when you are authentic. And then be resourceful. Building a strong business relationship goes both ways, right? And don't be afraid to give first. If you meet someone you believe you can help reach their business goals, you look for ways to be of service to them, Simple things like, maybe sharing their content. That doesn't cost you anything, right? Or giving them a shout out on social media, connecting them with others that maybe they can collaborate with one another, right? And so however you decide to offer help or be a resource, it's a way to be authentic, and it's a way to serve others, right? Resources, and show a genuine interest without any ulterior motives. Those things go a long way. And then keep in touch. Maybe send a short message or short email saying, you enjoyed speaking with them. If you met them at a networking event or whatever, make an effort to maintain the relationship. And there are many non-intrusive ways to do that, like I just shared. Okay? And so one of the books that we share in our community is Never Eat Alone. We recommend that book very highly. It's Never Eat Alone by Keith Faraz, and it provides a plethora of ways to build your network and explains the art of networking. And I think it is so important in this climate because we're doing a lot of things virtually. But that book explains the art of networking along with actionable advice on how you can harness the power of good relationships and becoming a good networker. Now, another example, of course, I got to give an example in Scripture, and that would be Paul. And so Paul took the time to build relationships, right? He was a tent maker. He had a business. And so it took time in those days to really establish the type of relationships in order to gain the necessary permissions in certain cities to conduct business. So Paul conducted business with established businesses and regular suppliers, owners with memberships in the appropriate trade guilds, and he had a regular clientele. And in fact, on one of his missionary journeys, he met Aquila and his wife Priscilla. And the scripture says in Acts 18:3, because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them and they were working, for by trade they were tent makers. And so God used their shared business interests to connect Paul with this couple, right? And this provided greater ministry impact. This, in fact, helped him to expand his business. And so there is that example and many other examples in Scripture where you see that building powerful relationships authentically, genuinely, really does help, and it is required. It is a principle that is necessary for us in our businesses, in our personal relationships, in our endeavors. And so I hope that this has inspired you. I mean, I may sound like I'm a little bit annoyed, and I was annoyed by that message that I was sent on LinkedIn. But this really does prove that there are ways to do this. And I just wished that more people would understand that those old ways of reaching out and making it transactional is not the way to build relationships and build a network. So I hope today's wisdom has inspired you. I hope that you have been encouraged to build your network powerfully based on genuine and authentic relationships. Remember to go to wisdominspired.net where you can find the links to the other platforms, listen to previous episodes, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to know more about our virtual co-working and collaborating community and how you can benefit from the resources, then send us an email to hello@aaccoworking.com. With that said, meet us back on the line next time, same place, same station, with more wisdom inspired. And remember, in all things, Christ should always be the model for everything. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Wisdom Inspired that was brought to you by the AAC Co-working Community, a virtual community designed to support female entrepreneurs, business owners, and freelance professionals. For more, go to wisdominspired.net.